Hi everyone, how's everyone doing? Hope you all managed to join okay. Welcome to the webinar, AI for Charities, What You Need to Know. Really appreciate you all joining us. I am Adam and I'm the MD here at Qlic IT, and I'm going to be joined a little later today by Karen from Lewisham Local to get their view on how they're using AI at Lewisham Local. AI is transforming how charities operate, from daily admin to donor engagement. In this session, you can expect to learn what AI can do, how you can build your own AI, and what's actually working in real community organisations. We'll be sharing both the tech and frontline charity perspectives. There will be a demo of how you can create your own custom GPT, and then we'll be speaking to Karen to see how she is using AI at Lewisham Local. Many of these tools are easily accessible and either free or affordable for the third sector. AI isn't just for large organisations. It's already helping small charities save time and increase impact. Understanding how to start and what to watch out for is critical. There will be a poll in the chat that everyone can answer. My colleague Jenny will put that up in a minute. Be sure to take notes and consider what your first AI step could be. Quickly just going to introduce Qlic IT. Qlic IT for Charities are a managed service provider with over 20 years experience focused on the not-for-profit sector. We offer tailored IT support, consultancy and strategy, supporting over 350 organisations UK-wide. We understand the constraints charities face, limited budgets, time and tech confidence. We help you solve IT problems and get more from your existing tools. Think of us as your IT partner, not just a help desk. So how are charities using AI? AI can automate daily administration, process donor records, personalised communications and help with reporting. It's also being used for fundraising and impact measurement. And these are real-life use cases, not future technology. AI is saving time and boosting outcomes today. Start by identifying small repetitive tasks where AI could help. Focus on those strategies. So how do we get started? Start with some small tasks, something like a reporting, marketing, or donor engagement. Pick the right tool for your organisation. I'd suggest starting with the free tools, and then look at paid options as confidence grows, setting out 1 or 2 people initially and growing from there. Focus on upskilling and training your team. Maybe ask someone to be an AI champion. An AI champion is someone that people can go to get help, learn, and can push the organisation forward with AI. Choose some low-risk areas, run a pilot session, gather feedback, and keep playing with this technology. It's there for us to use, and it is a huge help. So AI prompting. Good prompts equals good results. We are all fantastic Googlers, but we need to be more precise with AI. We need to give context like you're speaking to an intern or a trainee. There's tools out there to help with prompting. Microsoft Prompt Coach, and they've also come up with the GCSE method to help improve quality. The Prompt Coach is featured within Microsoft Copilot, and it's designed to help users craft better prompts for more accurate and useful AI-generated responses. The GCSE method is broken down into key areas, so you define the goal, what you want the AI to achieve, provide context and background information, specify references, data sources, or the format to respond in, and then clarify the style and the length of response you need. Better prompts reduce frustration and make AI usable for all staff. Today I'm going to be focusing on the 2 most widely used AI tools for charities. ChatGPT from OpenAI is conversational and creative, great for generating ideas, content and problem solving. And Microsoft Copilot is a very similar large language model, and the paid version can be integrated into your Microsoft 365 applications, ideal for working inside Word, Outlook, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. ChatGPT is flexible, great for exploring one-off tasks, writing an appeal, summarising a report, and Copilot can boost productivity directly in the tools you're already using, like creating meeting notes, summarising long email trails, or creating a budget forecast in Excel. Copilot also includes access to GPT-4, but it understands your work content better due to Microsoft integration, calendars, documents, emails. Try both, see which one suits your team. They complement each other very well. So what are the differences between Microsoft Copilot and ChatGPT and the free and the paid versions? Microsoft Copilot is AI from Microsoft, and it uses the same engine as ChatGPT, and there is a free version available online or in the Teams app, and a paid version. Free Copilot is very much like ChatGPT, but with Microsoft Search built in. The paid version uses your own organization's data, emails, documents, etc. to personalize responses. It's embedded into the tools your team already uses. and it understands your work and gives smarter context-aware help. For example, summarize last week's emails works in paid Copilot, but not in the free version. I suggest starting with the free version, explore Copilot's capabilities and its tone and what it can do, and then level up to the paid version once staff are comfortable with seeing productivity gains. A good approach would be to pilot with 1 or 2 team members and expand if the return on investment is clear. For £252 per user per year, it is expensive, but if you break that down monthly, you're looking at around £20 per month. And if you think about if you could save one of your team members an hour or 2 of their time, it's paying for itself. So ChatGPT from OpenAI. For today's demo, I'm going to be showing you ChatGPT Plus. That is the paid version. The reason why I'm going to show you ChatGPT today is because the majority of the content that I have in Microsoft Copilot is our business content, so I can't share it with you. But ChatGPT I use more for playing around, so I'm going to be showing that today. And I'm going to be showing you a demo of ChatGPT Plus. As I say, it's the paid version. It's around $20 per month. And the reason why I'm showing you that is because I want to show you custom GPTs. This is where I feel the real value sets in. So what are custom GPTs? Custom GPTs are tailored versions of ChatGPT that you create for a specific task or job. They allow you to define behaviors, give context, and upload data, making them a perfect fit for tasks for unique tasks to your organization. Why would we use them? To automate repetitive tasks, free up time, and for more strategic and creative work. Ensure responses follow your organization's branding, tone, and guidelines, and create a tool that understands your organization, its processes, priorities, and deliverables. So the key features of creating a custom GPT is defining how the GPT should behave and interact with users, uploading specific information or data sets, and enhancing expertise, and building GPTs to handle specific tasks such as fundraising, impact reporting, or policy creation. So in this demo, I'm going to show you how to access the customization tool, how to set the behavior and the tone of the GPT, to add your own knowledge, and then test and refine that. So this is my ChatGPT, and sorry I'm not looking at you anymore when I do this because I've got a second screen here. So this is my version of ChatGPT, and I've already created these GPTs for us today. But I'm going to show you how I did it and why I've done it. So if I go to my GPTs here, and this is on the paid version, ChatGPT Plus, which is, as I say, $20 per month. And I've already created a number here. There are some ones that I use internally for Qlic, and ones that I've been playing with, and then I've created these 3 here. I'm going to start with the fundraising assistant. So if I was starting this from scratch, I'd click here, create a GPT. As I've already created it, I'm going to show you how I did that. So here's where you can configure the custom GPT. So this is a fundraising assistant GPT. And this is just a description to help my team or other people using it. So it helps generate appeal letters, social media copy, and fundraising emails quickly, tailored to a cause. And then I have to give it instructions. These can be as long as short as you want, but the more detail you give it, the more context, the more information you provide, the more it's going to help you. So I put, you are a charity fundraising expert. Your job is to help non-profits while write compelling fundraising content tailored to a target audience. Always be persuasive, mission-driven, and emotionally engaging. These are some conversation starters. So they're little boxes to help people that are using this. So other team members, write a donation appeal, help me create social media copy, things like that. They're just prompts to help people get started. And this is where it can really help as well. So I could upload knowledge. So these are just dummy documents that I've created, but you could give it previous fundraising campaigns, give it social media posts, giving it all that context so it knows the tone and behavior you want it to talk about. I'll show you what I've done for this one. It's very short and sweet. So here's my copy that I'm uploading. It's always slow. So this is just the knowledge, as I say. This is just a text document. You can upload Word documents, Excel files, PowerPoint spreadsheets, etc., etc. So it's a very, very basic amount of information, but this could be a really long document, a very long Word document, that kind of thing. But this is just a bit of information that I've uploaded prior to. And then I can ask it some questions. So let's go to ask it some questions now, see what it comes up with. So I've got here, write a donation appeal for a small animal shelter preparing for winter. So again, you could have already provided it context on what your charity does and how it works. I've only given it some basic knowledge at the start, but you can give it as much as you want. But because it's already got some knowledge and some context, it knows that I'm trying to do it for fundraising assistance. So this is an email that's put together now. As I asked it, dear first name, and it's set out some information. As winter sets in, It's all about using those compelling words that we asked it to do in the instructions. It's pre-done it, so it's saving me loads of time. I'm not having to provide all that context straight away. So every time I post, it's going to give me more information. One thing I love about ChatGPT is it asks you a question at the bottom here. So it says, would you like this tailored for a specific donor segment or with more personalized details? I'm going to say, can you create social media posts as well? So again, same knowledge, same information, very, very quick, short information I need to give it because it's got lots of context in the background. Yeah, so it's got Instagram posts, it's got different posts for Twitter and X, Instagram Reels, TikTok ideas, that kind of thing. And again, it's asking me that question at the end, would you like these adapted to with your shelter's name, photos, or specific donation goals? Here you go, I'll say, I've got another one here. Give me 3 versions of a tweet to encourage monthly giving using a warm and emotional tone. So again, it's giving me 3 different options there, using all that context, all of that information. I think it's done a pretty good job there as well. And again, depending on what social media platform you're using, it's going to give you different information, different ideas, because every platform is different. So it's got different algorithms. And it really is good at knowing the algorithms and how they work. It can help you even set up a social media strategy over weeks and months, which I've done before as well. Here's another thing we haven't tried, so I'll go back and start a new chat with this fundraising assistant. And I'm going to say, rewrite this grant paragraph to be more persuasive and jargon-free. And I'm going to upload the grant paragraph from my computer. Again, you can connect it to your OneDrive or to your Google search as well. And I've got a grant paragraph here. Again, it's very short at the moment. And that's going to upload there. And again, uploading information documents is really, really helpful here. It saves me loads of time. So it's rewritten the paragraph. And I'm going to say to me, tailor this to my fundraising, to my trustees, and send in email format. And there you go, it's rewritten the whole thing as an email as well. So you can ask for loads of different ways of doing it. Really, really quick, easy to do. It's using all that context that I pre-provided. Let's have a look at another one now. So the next one I've done is for policy and document drafting. Let's have a quick look at how I've set that up. So this is to create or update internal policies, safeguarding templates, and staff guidelines. So these are the instructions. You help small charities with clear, legally compliant policies or internal documents. Use plain English, always include clear section headings, and where relevant, flag sections that require customization. And then it's got to help me summarize this policy, write new policy, and create staff guidelines. So again, I've given it all the information. I can show you the knowledge that I've uploaded as well. So again, I've given it some knowledge here. And again, you could provide it with previous policies. You could give it a whole folder of policies if you wanted. There's no limit on how many documents you can upload and how long the documents are. And again, it's given it some tips on how to write things, some template headings, common policy types, and some notes. So again, this could be much, much more information based on your previous policies, your existing policies, if you want to update them for 2025, or if some new legislation comes out. For instance, when GDPR came out, you could ask it to rewrite your policies based on GDPR, and it will have that information to it. So let's go and test this now and get it to draft some policies for us. It is important to know that these will be draft policies because, again, you can't trust it to be absolutely perfect. It is AI, it's not perfect. And we'll work on what prompts we've got as well here. So here we are. So I put, first prompt, create a volunteer agreement for a community food bank, including a code of conduct. And because it knows I want them to be summaries, it wants them to be short, it wants them to be easily readable, it's really going to use plain English, bullet points. You know, it's a summary policy, not full information here, which is really what I've asked it to do already. I'm not having to work and go back and do that. It's defined all of that. I'll also ask it to draft a safeguarding policy for a youth mentoring charity. Again, keep it plain English. And it's done that straight away as a PDF or as a canvas like this, so I can go straight back into it again. It's really summarised these documents. I'm going to say to it after this that actually I've decided I don't want just bullet points, so I'm going to provide more detail, no bullet points, and longer summaries. And it's going to edit that on the fly in the canvas pane here. It's already changing it up above, as you can see. Again, because it's got that context already, I haven't got to do long prompts. Normally, if I was prompting for something with so much content, I would need to provide a very long prompt. But because that GPT is already there, we've created one internally on our staff handbook, so our staff can ask questions. We've created one on our support SLAs, so if the staff are unsure if our SLAs are going to be met, we can put in the query into the SLA and say, yes, that's covered by our support agreements. We have them on our tenders, so if a tender comes in and we're not sure if we have that ability to answer that part of the tender, it will say yes, based on this information you have in your documents in your library. It can do that already, and they're all pre-built, and that's the key to these things. It's pre-built and gives you great information, so you haven't got to go and do that time and time again. The last one I'm going to do is the impact reporting. So again, if I go back here to my GPTs, this is about reporting here, so impact reporting. So I'm going to show you how I built this again. So again, help charity teams turn data and stories into reports, presentations, or impact summaries. You'll support charities in writing and presenting impact reports. Help them turn outcomes, stats, and stories into persuasive reports or summaries. Use accessible language, good structure, and offer options for visuals and infographics. So again, I've got some options there, and I'll just show you the knowledge. I've uploaded some really basic knowledge for this one. If you have, I'm sure that data and stats are where charities spend a lot of their time and money, unfortunately, in having to provide these. But this is the sort of demo data I've given it. It's very little data, but you could obviously provide a lot more data, I'm sure. And we'll work on the prompts here as well. So let me go and test this. So I can go into this and say, turn this list of stats into a one-page impact report for the trustee board. And I'm actually going to upload additional stats as well. Just using the stats that I've created to create an impact report. Again, with that very little bit of information that I just showed you, 4 or 5 bullet points, and it's actually provide more of a report for that as well. And I could say, can you turn this into a web page for our website? It's actually writing now the HTML to create a web page. Now, obviously, what you've depending on how your website's built, it's going to be doing it in different ways or formats. But this could be a one-page website that you can link to from a mailer. You can also create the mailer as well. And it will show me at the end of this, once it's written all the code, is what the outcome looks like as well. Let's go to so I can click on preview your output. Again, that shows the web page. So it's create a web page. It's given me the code to create a web page. And it's put that all together for me in a nice, pretty looking page. And I go back and see the code as well. Obviously, I don't know how to write code. I've never written code in my life, but it obviously does work. You can copy and paste that in to your website or help you create a one-pager from an emailer. So I'm also going to go back and say, turn this into an email marketing mailer. And again, it's going to take that same content, those same stats, and make it a much more an email-friendly version, which is fantastic. It's come up with calls to action, donate now, read more on our website. You could link through to that website document. And I've done all of that by uploading those few stats. I'll write another one, just one more to go. So let me start a new chat here. So write a summary of our program's outcomes using these bullet points. And again, I've got some information I'm going to upload. Just to show you what the information is, I'll just show you that quickly. So again, this is some real basic outcomes here that I've put together. Reduced loneliness of 70% of survey participants, provided training to 120 unemployed adults, etc., etc. Very little data, but you can provide as much as you want to give you some real help there. Again, it knows all of that background, all that information, all of that context already. So I'm using very short prompts, very basic information to provide detail and clear, which is fantastic. So would you like this stylized with an infographic? Yes. Please make an infographic. I haven't done this before, so I'm not sure if it's going to work, but here we go. Why not try it on the fly? The image creation has got a lot better in GPT 4.0. It's definitely something to be played with. It's not perfect still, and it still has some problems spelling, but it's getting better and better every day. Image creation is always a bit slow. It takes a lot of data. Oh, there we go. Spelling's good for once, which is great. Don't know why it's put feeling lonely, less isolated onto 2 lines. These are the issues you do have sometimes with images. Not perfect, but definitely a lot better than it was 6 months ago. This is great. If you could stick this in an email campaign, on a social media post, I've done that in 5 seconds. Really good and really easy to do. So if I go back here, I'll just show you those again. So that's the 3 I created: fundraising assistant GPT, policy and document drafter, and impact reporting. The very specific GPTs for specific tasks with knowledge baked in. And I say this can be as much or as little as you want, and it can give it all the context about your website. You can reference your charity's website. You can reference your charity's data if you upload it, and it can reference your social media pages as well, your YouTube pages if you have things like that. So it can learn all about you without having to do that every single time. So you're not having to work over and over again. But that will hopefully give you the idea of what you can do and why it's important to sometimes go and that step further and use the paid tools, so that you're not having to give it all the information every single time. You're having to do, you're creating tools to help your entire organization. There's AI tools that are out there. So if I create a tool, I can then share it. You can share it via a link so that everyone can access it. And actually, I have the paid version. If I create those GPTs, I can share them with my team and they can use them for free. So they can just have the free version, but use the GPTs that I've created. So again, you haven't got to have a license for every single person. And you can also do those same custom GPTs in Microsoft Copilot. So in Microsoft Copilot, they call them Copilot agents, and you build them in Copilot Studio. It's again very much the same. There's no code. You just type in what you want it to do and how you want it to do it, and it will do it for you. Really simple to do and easy to get started with. So I'm just going to introduce you now to Karen at Lewisham Local, and she will be able to give you a bit of an introduction of who she is and how Lewisham Local are using AI.
Certainly, thanks for having me. So my name's Karen. I work for Lewisham Local. We're a charity that is set up to help other charities in the London Borough of Lewisham, and I help groups with their fundraising and a little bit on their digital as well.
Brilliant, that's amazing. And we've worked with you for a couple of years now, attending your events, and it's been really fantastic to see how you've grown and how you're embracing AI. So how are you using AI in your day-to-day work?
Okay, so this is the kind of you've done all of the kind of pushing forward, and I'm just going to give people a few kind of little how does it happen on the ground type angle on it. So just a really simple takeaway that I use quite a lot is for trust applications, word counts can take ages to reduce down your word counts. And I've spent probably over the course of my career, probably hours chipping away, trying to get it down to 100 words to explain the whole of your organization. And it's just so quick using AI. So you can just plumb that in there and say, please adapt this to 100 words or whatever. And then obviously I read it over and just double check whether I'm happy with the results. And sometimes I just, I put it back in again and and do it a couple of times, and eventually it comes out with something good. So yeah, I don't just use it blindly, but that's a really quick and easy takeaway that saves time on a day-to-day basis. But also, if I'm researching for reports, again, really helpful for the needs questions that a funder can ask. What are the needs in your area? You can plumb that into AI, and that can save a lot of time. And then the last one, I've started dabbling a little bit with AI where it's integrated into things already. So, for example, I use Canva for a lot of my designs, and I do lots of training sessions, and I want to have an image that's relevant. And previously on Canva, I might spend quite a lot of time scanning through images, and this way, you can create an image. So yeah, those are just 3 ways that I use Canva AI.
Yeah, that's what you say there about cutting down the size of content. I was doing that exactly same thing yesterday, working on a tender document, and I had 250 words per question, and I had to cut down some of my answers. So that was really helpful for me as well. So it works in obviously both industries. You mentioned Canva there. What other tools have you been using?
So I use Copilot quite a lot because it's just there and quite quick and easy to use. So to sort of integrate it into my day, that's quite an easy one to use. I also use a bit of ChatGPT. If I'm kind of going to do a sort of a standalone task, I tend to use that a bit more. And then some of the organisations that I've invited along to speak to my Lewisham groups are specific fundraising based AI platforms, Grantable and Plinth. I've invited those along to talk to our groups, for groups who are interested in finding out about how to use it for trust applications.
So things like Grantable have AI built in, do they?
It's a specific platform for writing applications, and Plinth has an element where you can also search for places to look for funding as well.
That's absolutely fantastic. So when you first started on your journey with AI, did you face any challenges or any roadblocks?
I'm still facing those challenges, Adam. It's not like it's a done deal, is it? Because it's changing so quickly. But I think for me the ongoing challenge is just trying to remember, can I do this quicker with AI? And sort of looking at it from that other angle rather than going into autopilot. And then something that came up in my volunteering was making sure that my prompts are really good. So I wanted it to do over Easter, I was doing a little session, and I wanted a comic strip of a story. So it's a Bible story of the lost sheep. So I wanted it to be in 6 different windows. So I put in the prompt about 6 windows, and before you knew it, I had Jesus and some sheep, and then a picture of a physical pane of glass in the middle of a field. So it's really about making sure that my prompts make sense. And I kept having this argument with the AI, and it kept still putting windows onto the hills, and in the end I just had to sort of start again.
Sometimes you start again.
I just cut my losses and was just no, this is I'm laughing at the screen because it's just so ridiculous, this big old pane of glass in the middle of a field. So that was a memorable, painful moment.
It sounds just like working with a sort of an intern or a trainee. Sometimes you just need to okay, I'm going to give up and start again, or give a breather. And it works the same with AI. I bet that even when you're applying, you're being polite, saying sorry, say, oh no, not like that. That is the way you really need to start talking to the tools, is using that common language that you would use with someone who you're trying to train for the first time on how to do something. So it sounds like AI has helped you save time. Has it improved your work at all, would you say?
Yeah, definitely. When I've got a funding application and I need to evidence the need that I was saying earlier, often putting that information into AI will bring up different things to evidence the need. So every time you make a point in a funding application, so you might sort of say there's a high prevalence of loneliness in Lewisham, you need to evidence that point, as this report shows, And so finding all of that information for different funders according to what you're applying for can be quite tricky. So that's been really helpful, because I've been able to discover new pieces of evidence that I can use. And then one massive bit of time that was that AI helped me with was so I'm funded by the council to do this work, and the question was, and I was able to say, oh, I've helped groups raise over £1 million, which is great. And then someone came back with, well, yeah, but how do you know it was what you did? And so I plumbed in the information. I took out any personalised information to make sure I was GDPR compliant. But I took out all that personal information, and that only took like a few minutes. And then I plumbed it into ChatGPT, and I asked it, can you compare this to, the success rates with other groups? And it did all of this, and it and then I said, is there anything else you could ask of this data? And it just came back with some really useful stuff. So I'm going to actually read to you. I've got it up here on the screen, what it came up with, and then I could quote this to the council. So then it's not me marking my own homework. It's me sort of saying, I've plumbed all this in, and this is what it comes up with. So I'll just really briefly say it. One-to-one and query. So yeah, I help people in different ways, but when I'm helping people with a one-to-one or a query, both have a success rate of 66.67%, which is significantly higher than the average post-COVID success rates. Written applications, success rate of 54.17%, also higher than the average. And this was a really good quote. Oh, I could show the council this. Overall, your initiatives seem to have a higher success rate compared to the general trends in the UK, especially for one-to-one and query types of fundraising support. So,
Brilliant.
Hopefully, I'll find out soon because I'll get the feedback. But hopefully that blew the council away because, like I said, it's not me marking my own homework. It's the computer telling us, what it makes of that data. So yeah.
And what I love is when you're asking those queries, it'll often give you the reference sources, so the websites where it's found it. So if you're asking about grant applications, or if you're asking about where it's got the data from, you can actually go into those websites and have a look to fact check, which I find really, really helpful because, again, it is important to fact check this data. And I love
and it would have taken me ages otherwise.
Yeah,
Sorry
of course.
To interrupt you, Adam.
No, to find the web pages and get the data, it was going to take you, probably hours to collate that. And then, all of a sudden it's there in front of you, and you can just click on fact check it and be able to provide that information. So it's fantastic. So do you see AI playing, a bigger role in the future?
Yeah, definitely. Just partly because as I learn more, but also as AI develops. So the other day I found out about Gamma, another AI platform, and I tested it out. So I do a lot of training with groups, and so you can use that to create like PowerPoint presentations. And there was a morning where one of my speakers cancelled on me on a topic I know a bit about, but I wouldn't know like all of the details and stuff. And so I've only about Gamma recently, but before that I used Copilot to actually write that presentation. And so I was able to cover that session, and I, just explained, I'm not the person that was supposed to be speaking, and I'm not a professional, but it turned out to be a really good session actually, and really spoke to people. So yeah, just more of the same, really. Any of those last minute panics become a little bit less of a panic with a bit of help from AI.
Yeah, I mean, it can definitely help. So you say the last minute panics. I got sent a tender yesterday. I had a 7-day deadline on it, and I'm out of the office the next 3 days and running this today. So a bit of panic set in, but I used the information I've got and I reduced those answers down to 250 words and did all that kind of stuff, and I was working into the evening, but it saved me hours and hours in the end. So it was fantastic. And I think, as you say, as the future comes and more tools are available, we're going to see more and more of this. And I think it's all about getting people to start practicing, playing, testing, and seeing what they can come up with. Thank you, Karen. Really appreciate that, and it's really great for everyone here to hear, from the horse's mouth, as it were, how a charity is using AI today, and making sure that it's not just tech companies like ourselves using AI. There are people out there doing this and saving time, saving money, and building resources. And it's not about taking someone's job. It's about people making jobs more efficient, and that's really what we're trying to do here. It's about efficiencies, and in the not-for-profit sector, it's so important to make those efficiencies because budgets are tight, resources hard to find, and keeping people, in a job where there's very little resources and money and time for them to do their work is so important in this sector. So I really appreciate your time. Thank you. So we have an AI for charities, what leaders need to know. We're working with Charity Digital on that, and that has a lot more on governance and cybersecurity in AI. So if you're interested in that side of things, I would definitely join that one. That's on the 5th of June. We have a fundraising webinar with Easy Fundraising on the 17th of June, and then AI webinar with Prompt AI Global on the 16th of July. So please do check out our website, check out our YouTube channels, and our other events that are upcoming, because there are a lot there as well. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you very much to Karen for coming along and sharing her experiences, and I appreciate everyone's questions. It's been a good session. Thank you.